9-year-old Emily Carter learned to move quietly. In the old suburban house in Oregon, silence was the safest language. Each hardwood step she took was calculated, practiced, controlled, learned from months of fear. The house was warm, but her world wasn't. Her stepmother, Diana Carter, ruled the household with cold authority. To the neighbors, Diana was elegance, perfect hair, flawless makeup, polite smiles. Inside the house, that mask slipped. Emily spent her afternoons scrubbing floors that were already clean, folding laundry that didn't need folding, and cooking meals she wasn't allowed to eat. Her small hands trembled as she worked. Mistakes weren't tolerated. A missed spot, a wrinkled towel, or a late answer was enough to provoke rage. Her father, Richard Carter, had been gone for months, traveling overseas for business deals, buying luxury resorts, and approving mega-projects. Emily remembered his laughter, his protective embrace, the freckles on his arms where he'd let her color them with markers. Since he left, her world had changed. Diana's cruelty grew the longer Richard was absent. That afternoon, Emily dropped a porcelain cup while washing dishes. It shattered across the kitchen tiles. The sound echoed like a gunshot. Diana appeared instantly, her face twisted in anger. "You useless little thing." Emily backed away. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean—" Diana grabbed her arm, nails digging into flesh. "Sorry doesn't fix anything." She dragged Emily into the hallway and shoved her to the floor. The impact knocked the air from Emily's lungs. Tears streamed down her face. "Please stop this," Emily sobbed, curling into herself. But Diana didn't stop. A sharp slap echoed against the walls. Emily cried quietly now, too afraid to scream. She thought of her father, of the safety she'd felt when he was home. "I want Daddy," she whispered. But Daddy wasn't here, or so she thought. That same morning, a black luxury convoy rolled silently through Emily's neighborhood. Inside the lead car sat Richard Carter, billionaire entrepreneur, CEO, and father. He hadn't told anyone he was coming home early. The board meeting he attended was cut short when his instincts began burning like wildfire. He couldn't explain it. Only that unease clung to his chest. Emily had been unusually quiet on the phone lately. Less laughter, more silence, too much silence. When the gated entrance appeared ahead, Richard leaned forward. "Stop the car," he said. He stared at the house that once felt like a sanctuary. Now it looked wrong. Quiet. Too quiet. The driver hesitated. "Sir, shouldn't we notify—" "No," Richard replied firmly. "I want to surprise them." He stepped out alone and approached the front door. The sound reached him first. A child crying. Richard froze. Then he heard it clearly. "Please stop this." His blood went cold. Richard ran. He pushed the door open, ignoring formality as the cries sharpened into sobs. Every step toward the hallway thundered in his ears. He turned the corner and saw Emily on the floor. Her tiny body trembled. Her face was red and swollen. Behind her stood Diana, arm raised mid-strike. Richard lost control. "What the hell are you doing?" The room froze. Diana spun around, face draining of color. "Richard, you weren't supposed to—" He rushed forward, wrapping Emily in his arms. She collapsed against his chest, sobbing uncontrollably. "They hurt me," she whimpered. Richard scanned her bruises, scratch marks, angry welts forming beneath the skin. Rage consumed him. He stood slowly, shielding Emily behind him. "You laid a hand on my daughter," he growled. Diana stammered. "She was disobedient. I was just teaching discipline." "You're teaching cruelty." Richard called his security team immediately. "Get people here. Now." Diana's confidence cracked as she backed away. "You can't. This will ruin everything." Richard didn't care about appearances anymore. All he cared about was the broken child clinging to his shirt. "No," he said coldly. "You've already ruined everything." Emily slept curled against Richard's chest in the back seat of his car. Armed security flanked the vehicle, as it sped toward the city hospital. Richard gently brushed her hair away from her bruised forehead. Every mark on her skin sliced deeper than any financial loss he had ever endured. Inside the emergency room, doctors carefully evaluated her injuries. Contusions, muscle strain, superficial cuts. But thankfully, no fractures. Richard exhaled for the first time all day. He remained beside Emily's bed, refusing to leave even as nurses asked him to rest. "I should have been here," he whispered. When she awoke, her eyes widened at first, then filled with tears. "Daddy?" "I'm here, sweetheart," he said immediately, gripping her small hand. "I promise, I won't leave you again." Emily clung to him, sobbing with relief instead of fear now. She told him everything: the chores, the punishments, the insults, the nights she cried alone. Richard listened without interruption, but inside, fury burned uncontrollable. "I was scared," Emily admitted. "I thought you didn't want me anymore. Those words destroyed him." "Oh, Emily," Richard choked. "You are everything to me." He contacted Child Protection Services directly and arranged temporary custody paperwork within hours. Lawyers ensured Diana would never come near Emily again. By morning, Emily was discharged into Richard's care. Instead of returning to the big empty mansion, Richard brought Emily to his private lakeside retreat, a place full of light, animals, and open skies. For the first time in months, Emily slept peacefully without fear. Richard sat by her bed that night, watching the slow rise of her chest. "I failed you once," he whispered. "Never again." Weeks passed. Emily began smiling again. Richard scheduled therapy sessions, enrolled her in a new school, and personally walked her to class every morning. On weekends they painted together, went horseback riding, and baked cookies, normal moments that slowly repaired the damage. Yet Emily still woke from nightmares screaming. One evening, she finally spoke. "I'm scared she might come back." Richard knelt before her. "She won't, I promise." He meant it. Meanwhile, Diana faced legal consequences. Her expensive lawyers couldn't bury the evidence. Medical reports, testimonies from staff, hidden cameras, and Emily's own brave statement told the truth. Public knowledge of the abuse spread quickly. Richard didn't protect his reputation anymore. He stood beside his daughter at every hearing. The world saw the billionaire not as a powerful businessman, but as a father standing guard. Eventually, the court finalized a lifetime protection order. Emily was safe. Her fear faded into confidence. She began performing at school plays, drawing beautiful pictures, and laughing freely, a sound Richard realized he hadn't heard in far too long. Healing didn't erase memories, but it gave them less control. 1 year later, Richard stood in the crowd watching Emily step onto a brightly lit stage. Her school play opened to applause. She smiled confidently, delivering her lines with a steady voice that once shook with terror. Richard felt his chest tighten. His daughter wasn't broken anymore. After the show, Emily ran into his arms. "Did you see me?" He laughed softly, hugging her tight. "I saw the bravest girl in the world." They returned home under a glowing sunset. No fear, no silence. That night, Emily pinned a drawing onto her bedroom wall, a father walking hand in hand with his daughter beneath a giant sun. She wrote, "Thank you for coming back." Richard fought tears. He kissed her forehead. "I'll always come back, Emily." For the first time, her world